Hey guys, David Burns here. Thanks for being a part of BeeTeam6. Great to be along with you again for another beekeeping tip and video. And today I want to talk to you about a bee vac because bee vacs have a lot of applications. Sometimes you have swarms that are on fences, walls, bushes, and you can't really shake them off. Sometimes you need to remove bees from homes between walls, and the only way to really remove bees from structure is to actually use a bee vac. And so today I want to show you my bee vac, what I did to make my bee vac. I've used it extensively over the last 10 years to remove sometimes as much as 1 to 2 colonies from a home per week. So it's really a workhorse. And in the beekeeping tips today, be sure and look. I'll provide a link for you to get the plans on making your own. One word of caution. When I first started wanting a bee vac many moons ago, I actually saw all the plans to make one with a 5-gallon bucket. I saw some you could put in a deep hive body and all that, and I tried some of those things. Catastrophic. I had so many bees, if not all of them would die. And so I made my own bee vac, and I still had too many bees dying. So over a lot of years of experience, we've perfected how to make a bee vac that once you vacuum up the bees off a comb, out of walls and such, they don't die. And that's really critical. And so we used to actually make these and sell them on our website through the years. But we don't make these anymore for resale. We make them for our own use. Anyway, I'll show you this one, and then I'll give you some ideas on how you can really benefit from having a bee vac. Let's get started. Okay, so what you're looking at here is actually the bee vac that has been a workhorse for me through the years. It has a typical small motor that I took off of another shop vac actually and mounted it to this box. So we built the box, and what we have on the box essentially is we make a hole for the motor, and then we make a vent hole here that we can operate. We can close it to increase suction or open it to decrease suction. And we have a little flaps here to kind of grab a hold of it, close it. Simple construction on just mounting 3 screws holds the mouth of the vacuum here, and the rest of it's an empty box. But a bee vac has to have 2 boxes. And so this is the outer box, and the trick and the success that we experienced was from this construction of the inner box. As you can notice, our inner box is huge. When we remove bees from homes, we remove 60,000 bees. So we will have 2, 3, or 4 of these. And once these get, maybe 10,000 bees, 20,000 bees, we have to pull it out. So we're not going to suck all the bees out of a colony and make them go into this box. They would all die from the heat. And so we change this regularly, and then we put it in the shade, and we have battery powered fans that we blow on the side of it, and we spray them with water because sometimes our removal may take all day long. Anyway, the top of it, the way we operate this one is it has a cut in the top. This is where the bees actually are poured out of. Well, in order to get our suction and not suck through that hole, we put a metal plate, a piece of aluminum, and staple it down in the corners. And then when we get ready to release the bees, when we get back to the apiary to shake them in a hive, we pry this off and to shake the bees out like you do a package. Now, one of the other kickers is this back piece here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but in the back right here, we have egg crate soft material You probably can't see through the screen, but it is a black egg crate soft material because the bees are being drawn, sucked in through here, and they can go all the way back and hit the back wall too hard, and it will actually kill them. So we pad the back so that when the bees are being sucked through, they hit the padding on the back wall, and it doesn't jar them or kill them. That's critical. If you make a box without the padding and your suction is too strong, you will cause all the bees to die. Okay, so I'll show you how these things work and the way we have them configured. This box here appears to be ready to be put in. It's got the lid that's stapled onto it here. And as you can see, it's got the hole like this. So it must go like that, yep. And my screen is here. And so the way the suction works is you just place this in the box and you line your holes up here so that your shop vac hose actually goes right in through box 1, the outer box, and into box 2, the inner box. And so these are locked together now. There's space for ventilation and suction, not a lot of space. And then we close the lid and you turn the button on. And now, even though this hose is really long, we have to have long hoses, suction is really good. Again, can be controlled by this little flap here. And you can run a little clasp through this little catch here to keep the lid from falling open on you. And then that's simply a bee vac. We use, when we're running the bee vac, we have to use this because before we turn it off, we let it suck it in until it stops, and we turn it off. That way bees don't crawl back out, and it just kind of makes it nice. So again, I'll include a PDF file, a link in my newsletter today, but these are easy to construct if you want to make your own. Bad news is nobody sells them. I was hoping before I made this video that I could tell you what company actually makes these and sells them, but we searched and searched. Zilcho. Anyway, these are great little units. We put some felt right here so that when you close the lid, it makes a really good seal. You don't lose air in between here. And like I said, these things take a beating. They've been, 60 feet on top of buildings. They've been in attics, under houses, dragged around, thrown on lifts and everything. And they're really cool. My father-in-law actually made all the bee vacs that we actually sold. And I think he did a great job. Anyway, that's kind of what you should be thinking about. Do consider a bee vac. I would really caution you not to use those bee vacs that put things in a 5-gallon bucket, mainly because the bees get way too hot. I've had people call me and say, what do I do to keep my bees from dying in my bee vac? Well, you got to have something, when you suck them up, it's got to be something huge like this. I mean, this is larger, a little bit larger than what you'd see in a package of bees, and that only holds 10,000 bees. And so, again, you need to have 3 or 4 of these when you're removing bees, just to keep the bees cool. That's the biggest thing, because you're working in heat, hot summer. The other thing I wanted to show you is, when you make these, look at this. We did it all ourselves, but look at the cord. I mean, it's just like so long. It might be 25 feet or more, because we can use extension cords, but sometimes you just need to have a long cord on these babies. I use these in my packages and operation because sometimes bees get on the outside of packages when we're shaking bees into our cages, and so we'll use this bee vac just to vacuum off and clean up cages for the customer. Okay, there you go, BeeTeam6, some info on bee vac, how important they are. They are very helpful. I know some of you are watching and you're maybe not in a situation where you can make your own. You don't have a wood shop. You might have some friends though that can take those instructions, those blueprints sort of, and make your own, have them make one for you. Again, I can't stress, if you ever are able, in fact, we have about 4 or 5 of these on hand in our shop that we use regularly, because we oftentimes need more than one on a job. But if you ever have a chance to have one made for you, you really should. You will be blown away how nice it is to use these. I had a BeeTeam6 member talk with me last week in getting a swarm out of a top of a cedar tree 15, 20 feet up in the air. He was up on a man lift. It's so easy to take this up on the man lift with you, vacuum the bees right into this baby, and get out of that tree. You're done in 5 minutes. I mean, cutting the limb, trying to not, make the bees fall and carrying them down and everything, it's pretty tough. And so bee vacs are great for retrieving swarms, just getting bees back where they need to be when they get confused and they're in the wrong place. So do consider finding out what options you have available to get your hands on one of these bee vacs. Now, Sherry wanted me to tell you and warn you, when in her research, she found that they do sell some of these, but she told me that they're not the kind that save bees. She said they kill bees. Some kind of bee vac that kills bees. I guess you vacuum and they kill them. So be very careful that you read and make sure, if you ever do find one, that it's not one to kill insects, but it's one to save insects. And again, the things that I showed you here are years of experience figuring out how we can keep every bee alive that we suck through this tube and into this canister. And so some of them are going to really kill your bees. So find one that has good plans. Also, our motor, we modified the motor a little bit, adjusting it, the pathway of the motor, so that bees don't hit any walls going directly where they need to go, into the cage. Okay, thanks a lot, BeeTeam6. Take a look at my newsletter, and we look forward to seeing you again. Take care.